Good morning. Sorry, we had a technical glitch this morning. It's just taken me 10 minutes or so to get it sorted. The link had vanished. So thank God we have a team, and thank God it's my PA had managed to save it as just as the ID. So therefore I had to go and reinstate it back into Zoom. But you know what? We love problems, but not at the last minute. There you go. You take it for granted that your links work. So note to self, check a link 30 minutes before you use it, and not like 2 minutes before you go to use it, which I tend to do because of my busyness, But anyway, we're here. Phew, phew. It's all good. See, persistence, keeping going, not giving up. I could have given up. But I thought, no, because we're meant to be reliable. So I wanted to be here. I don't care if anybody's here with me or not. I have to show up and do what I said I'm going to do. And that's what counts. So, what we're talking about today? Well, my favourite subject, other than your book, other than you, actually, let's get in the right order. Other than you, your book, my next favourite subject is brand, because actually, your brand is you. And personal brand is everything in business. It's taken a while for it to catch on because people, I think it's something to do with me being holistic, but people tend to compartmentalize everything, and we can get into sticky waters when we compartmentalize. Oh, that's a bit of word, getting my brain around that today. But equally, we have to have a whole. It's like a cake, right? Let's see it like this. We've got a cake, and we can cut our cake into each piece. So each piece can be a compartment, but it's part of a whole, and it must operate as a whole. But equally, if each of those pieces represents something, i.e., one of them represents brand, I should be able to take out my brand. I've still got my whole cake, but I should be able to look at brand in its component parts. So it becomes a whole, and there's component parts of the brand. But in order for the cake to be whole, we need to put the brand part in to make the beautiful cake. Because when we take one out, it's no longer whole. Hope that makes sense. I think I'm starting to trip myself up there. But anyway, I think you get what I mean. So we're talking about brand today because that's all about you. And what I say about it is you need to know who you are, what you stand for, and what you stand against. Now, it took me a while to understand what you stand against. And I don't like any form of negativity. It's not to say that I bury my head in the sand and I don't say there's nothing negative going on in the world. Of course there is. But that's not going to help you create change in yourself and the world through your ripple effects if you focus on what's wrong. So focus on you, what's right with you, what you need to change in order to fix the what's wrong out there. Of course, you lend a hand. So this is getting a wee bit off point, but I think it's important to understand the importance of knowing what you stand against. So, for example, let's take sex trafficking. Don't know why that came into my head, but it did. I was thinking of someone that I know it's her mission, and she does so much work around sex trafficking. And so you're in your little bubble, and sex trafficking doesn't happen inside your bubble, right? Because you're managing your bubble and you've got wonderful things going on in it so that you can keep your vibration high, so that you can expand that bubble. But of course, sex trafficking is happening outside of you, but it's actually on your doorstep. It happens in our communities. It happens in nationally. It happens in regions, nationally. And we know it happens in other countries as well with the same. It's all these little ripples, little target ripples. So what can we do about it? Well, you can roll up your sleeves and say, right, I'm becoming an activist, and you can go and join a group. That's one thing you could do. You could talk about it and make it something that we should be talking about to make people feel uncomfortable about. And we shouldn't feel uncomfortable speaking about it. God, this is not to do with brand. Well, it's not. Anyway, I think I'll come back and have a discussion on these issues. But the thing is, you can choose to do it. You can donate money. You can, you can, as I say, donate money. You can become an activist. You can talk about it. There you go. My rule of three. But you're not totally bringing it into your world to mar it, because we can't colour our water. We've got to be clear on who we are. So what you stand against, homelessness is a massive thing for me. When I see homeless people, I just dissolve, and it gets me why it is what it is. Anyway, let's not go into that one. So anything to do with children, abuse, so all these negative things are all part of our life. So we don't ignore them, but we do what we can. And I believe by being positive, we can create a better change. Yes, we need to join forces and support the people who are working at the chalk face. But if you don't decide to work at the chalk face, you need to keep your energy high so you can do what you do. Because if we sat all day and we thought about war, famine, hunger, climate change, we would be paralyzed and we would not know what to do. Why? Because they're all insurmountable. They're too big for one person to deal with. So you have to create those links. But what can you do? Well, you can focus on your gifts and talents. So my gifts and talents are about making people feel better, making people, encouraging, inspiring people to talk. See what I did there, guys? When you catch yourself saying a word that's not right, change it. Change that. You don't want that to mar your energy. We don't make anybody do anything, but we encourage and we inspire and we empower. So anyway, let's get to brand. So know what you stand against and do something about it. Don't just let it hang there. But where you want to do is 90% is focused on what positive change you can create in your life and the ripple effect that you create through your words, your actions, your beliefs, all of those things. So let's look at brand. That's what we're doing today. Wow. I think that's been about 6 or 7 minutes on that. And when you can see I get fired up about these things. Oh, my wee green's like my green jumper today. Oh. Anyway, let's share. And let me find... I'm hoping this is the right one. No, it's not. Hold on. I have to go back into... I'm having trouble with... I'm having a sort of a universe technology issue at the moment. So... which I have got to get fixed. Anybody that's great in technology, come and speak to me. I need your help. So let's share the screen. Okay. So we have all these things. So let's start the slideshow. Okay, what we're talking about today. Brand. Whoa, need to go back one. So we're talking about strategy, but crafting your unique identity. So do you know and understand what brand strategy means? I want to talk to you a wee bit about that. So I'm going to show you another document. And I do have these already, so I'm going to have to share. Just sorry, there's the black lines in the way. Okay, I'll share and stop share just in case you can't see that, because you know what it's like on these things. Oh, wrong one. So brand strategy is made up of different elements. And on school, you will find under brand, which is stage 1, because that's where we begin. We begin with you. We find all of these elements that you need to work through in order to create your brand strategy. Now, we've done it so that we've got 9 of the most poignant aspects of brand strategy that you need. There's a couple of more elements that you'll see in brand that you can add, but we feel 9 in the brand strategy is 1 and the 9 elements. So you've got 10 things that you need to work through in order to get that. Now, the good thing is you start working with me on your values, vision, and mission, because they are the most vital ones. And then we work on your message, golden thread, etc. So you can see we have brand values. That's an exercise. Takes about an hour to 1 to 2 hours, depending. Vision and missions, another hour. So that's about 3 hours work with me. Might take you longer, or you might do it quicker on your own. But quicker doesn't get deeper. It does need to be discussed. So we need to be looking at that. Now, the next things that we need to know is, what's your brand purpose? What are you doing? What's your purpose? So you've got your vision, values, vision, and mission. So what's your purpose? And what's your statement? What is the thing that you do in your business that's your brand statement that says who you are? I think I might need to update mine. And this is something you should come back to 6 months, at least once a year, if not twice a year, I would say. Twice a year, I would say quarterly in the beginning, in the first year to 2 years, quarterly, then 6 months, and then yearly is fine. Once you've got 3 years under your belt, annual is enough. Brand personality. So there's 5, so you have to decide on one, and you're not allowed split personality. We had a split personality for quite some time, until, you know, I go and I work with people and I study more, and then I realize, no, we can't have a brand personality. It becomes confusing, and you should always have clarity around what you're doing. When you get clarity, you can commit, and when you do that, you become confident. Then what's your brand identity? Now, this is the bit that everybody thinks is brand. This is, how do you show up? What's your logo? What's your colors? What fonts are you using? All these things are what people think brand is, but brand is way deeper than that. This is branding. Your brand identity is your branding. How are you? And again, there's a whole exercise on that so that you fully understand. And there's a little game you can play. You just see a bit of a logo and you guess what logo it is. Some of them are so easy, and some of them are like, what is that? Or you might not know it so much. Then what's your voice? This is very important in your marketing. Very important when you're doing your PR, your marketing. It has to be consistent. So when you see our marketing and when we talk to you, there should be some wit in there, so a bit of humor. It should be purposeful, so you're on point. You should be respectful of the people that you're talking to and working with, and it should be full of energy, as enthusiastic. Now, I might say energy, but they say enthusiastic, same thing. And actually, this should be near the top. These 3, I think we should swap in with the other row. Brand audience. Once you know yourself, you need to know who you're talking to, and then the what and the why, the wherefore, the when, and the how. So really, this is what we mean by brand strategy. All of the elements create strategy. It's not one thing. So let's stop sharing that. And hopefully you begin to understand what strategy is. It's not one thing. It's all those elements combined together create the strategy. And you should have it on your wall or somewhere close to you every single day. So the minute you're doing a post, email, anything, you look on that wall and you think, who am I? What am I showing up with? Now, look, we've done that. But if you don't keep reminding yourself, you know, you forget little elements. Whereas if you've got it in writing, you are focused and you can be consistent, and people will understand who you are when you show up. And that's what's important. So let's look at what else we've got in the field focus today. So crafting your unique identity. So we're only looking at one of the elements here. We're not looking at all of it, but this is an aspect of, so what's your identity? What's your logo? So you can see from my slides, and every week they are the same. Consistent. We don't keep changing it depending on our mood. So you can see the gold stays the same. We have gold and blue. So we need to look at why brand strategy matters. It matters for the things I've said already. Now, if we were in school, I would be getting you to put your hand up and tell me, because we've spoken about it already. So why does it matter? For clarity, stop confusion, stop you getting confused. Because if you don't have a clear mind, you can't focus, and how on earth is your audience going to be clear? It matters so you show up in that consistent way, saying the same things over and over, but finding innovative ways to say the same thing. So if I go back to when I worked with special needs children and in a class, and I would have to ask them to take their pencil cases out of their bag and place it on the table. So everything was very simple. Take your bag, open your bag, take out your pencil case, put the pencil case on the desk. Simplicity of language is my thing. And so for some children, I would have to break it down like that. For other children, so I would start off and say, right, guys, take your pencil case out your bag and put it on your desk. So that's one long piece of information. For some people, that doesn't work, depending on their processing and depending on which aspect you need to know them from a neurodiverse point of view. So for some children, I would give an instruction. It wouldn't be long. It would be no more than 3 elements. Take your bag, take your pencil case out, put it on your desk, the elements. But then for some children, I would need to turn around and I would need to say, James, take your bag, and wait for James to take his bag. James, take out your pencil case from inside your bag. Open it up. James, put pencil case on. Put your pencil case on the desk. So, and this is what we've got to remember about communication. Just because you say something and you understand it, doesn't mean to say it lands correctly. So this is why your strategy matters in terms of what you say, how you say it, consistent and showing up and not deviating. So we want clarity. We want you to be committed to who you are and what you do. And we want you to be confident in that. So break it down, break it down, break it down. Be simple, be clear. So what does your author brand look like? Because your personal brand is your author brand. It comes up with the same, So you need to define who you are. And when you do that personality, you can then start looking at, well, how do I need to speak? Do I speak? Am I someone that puts out short posts, mid posts, long posts? We need to talk about that as well to make sure you know exactly when to use and what for. I don't know about you, but when I see a big long post on LinkedIn, if it's not a newsletter, an article, I turn off. I don't get time. Look, when you're a business owner and you've got a business that's thriving and growing, you don't have the same amount of time for social media. That's why you extend your team and you have your team helping you out with your social media. It's not to say you don't use it, you should, because you need to be authentic. So you need to define what your author brand is. And that will depend on what your topic is. And that will depend on your personality. That will depend on your brand voice. So you need all the elements, well, most of the elements of that brand strategy to know who you are as when you're defining your author brand. Are you witty? Are you glamorous? Are you outdoorsy? You need to know all these things so everything falls up. If you can put yourself in a theme, so we talk about driving. So the theme for Book Brilliance, and we're getting better and better at it. We've always known it, but actually it takes a while to actually be doing it in a consistent way. So everything we talk about pit stops, roadblocks, potholes. So that these words we change for challenges. We have a roadblock. We have a pit. We have to go for a pit stop. That's your rest and relaxation and making sure your engine's working. So we're talking that way. So you need to make sure you know what is, and that's all to do with your brand story and how you project in your brand. And actually, when you go deeper into it, you'll understand why. So we talk about you drive, we navigate. We talk about the author's adventure. We talk about having roadmaps. So that's defining our brand. And our brand is filled with integrity. It's filled with collaboration, community, reliability, and love. They are our 5 main brands in which we operate every day. And I operate my life that way. So it's no surprising that my personal brand, it then is operated within the work that I do. You'll get maybe some purists say that's not true, but actually I do believe it's very true. So define your author brand. Just brain dump it in the beginning. Do the exercises, because there'll be elements in when you're defining your brand that you don't need. Get down to the bare bones. Here's a thing that has, so we know we've got a skeleton, right? So that's the structure of our body. It's bones and it's put together in a certain way. And then we have all the systems inside that. So we have our blood, our heart, our liver, our kidneys, our skin. We have all of that. They're all the systems. And then we have the other elements like muscle, like tendons, nails, hair. So we build ourselves up. You are the same. You need to strip yourself back to just being as if you're naked. Who are you? So the way I put it, I want to show up in my body with a dress and my lipstick on and perfume. Done. I'm happy. Pair of shoes, of course. Done. I'm off. I love the summer for that reason. I hate putting too many layers on. And this is what we do with our brand. We think we've got to keep adding and adding and adding. No, keep it streamlined. Keep it simple. Keep it so that people recognize you. Just look at the simplest of brands like Nike, ATIC, Apple, an apple with a bit taken out of it. McDonald's, golden arches, an M. So we've simplified our brand. Remember our logo? We had the circle. Now we've got one element. Simplicity. Okay, so define your author brand. Now look at your brand story. So that's around why do you do what you do? And how did it all begin? So the main theme is, why do you do what you do? How did it all begin? What do you believe in? What do you want to do with your clients? And what outcome do you want? Keep it simple. Never have any more than 5 elements. It just becomes like, well, you've got to remember it all. And that's the hard bit, So craft the brand story. So once you get the elements, remember we're building up again. We're building again. Skeletal. What are the elements? How do you put it together? What's your brand voice? If it's witty and you read it and it's dull, wait a minute, I'm not true to my brand voice. Your brand voice will come when you just speak. So I don't have notes when I do these. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I just need a picture and I need a word or a phrase, and I just speak into it from what I know from deep inside. And that's the secret of being a good speaker. The minute you start thinking of having to fit something into a structure, your brain doesn't work in the same way. And I know I can say that because I'm working with a coach just now, working on a professional speaking. And oh my God, I can speak like this for hours, but I have to put it into a certain structure because it guarantees results. So there's a little story. Building your brand platform. So your brand platform is very important. So what do you think your platform is? It's not social media. You have to own your platform. So the only platform you own would be your website. All authors should have a website. You should have a website anyway if you're in business, and then you add your author part to that. And your author website should be your name, not the name of your book. We do see some people doing that, but first and foremost, it should be you, and you're the brand, remember? Some people create, so like, for example, let's look at Stephen Covey, the 7 highly effective habits of, what is it? 7 habits of highly effective people. See, I mean, I've had that book for years. I'm still getting it in the right order. So he has Stephen Covey, and there's all this stuff about Stephen Covey, even though he's dead. It still lives on. There's the legacy in a book. Take note. And but he does have a website all about it because it's growing massively, which means large, right? And so therefore he's got 2, but they both point to each other, you know. But for you in the beginning, let's have your name. So brendadempsey.com or .co.uk. If you can get a .com, better, because it's worldwide. .co.uk equally is good. But I would urge you to go for a .com first and then .co.uk, unless you don't want a world wide business. So there's something else to consider. So build your brand platform. So again, your platform should have the same message, the same voice as what you put on LinkedIn, what you put on X, what you put on Twitter, not Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever else you've got platforms, you know, Medium, Google Blogs, whatever you're hanging out. But your brand platform is your website. And we are doing amazing deals with websites, which is like half the usual cost, because I've worked a deal with a website developer. And if you need that, come and speak to me and we'll get that. And then we look at the structure of that, and we begin with a 5-page, but we have a WordPress website and we build on it. Don't try and do everything at once. Who you are, what you're about. A blog, always have a blog on it, because you need to be a thought leader in your field and obviously be able to buy the book. Consistency. Be consistent. Create the patterns. Consistency, color, wording, imaging, have a style. So we've kind of gone into a bit of AI styling and imagery at the moment, embracing AI rather than opposing it. This isn't too bad. I think we still will develop this, but we've got to start somewhere. But we want to keep it. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Fever. Yeah. So consistency is key. Always, 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 always be consistent. Do things at the same time. It's routine. Now, so I'm a bit of a dichotomy, because I know the importance of routine. I was a teacher and everything's routine in schools. But equally, I'm a free spirit. My entrepreneur side is free spirited. So what do you do when you've got that dual aspect of yourself going on? But routine is, from a psychological point of view, from the psychology and how the mind works, routine is necessary. Why do you think the army is such routine and discipline? They get things done. When we don't have routine, we everything like just, it's like it's all floppy. And that actually doesn't help us too much if we're too floppy. We might need to take time out and be floppy, but we need to go back to the routine. So I like to have routine. So we have this at 10 o'clock, 4 o'clock on a Thursday, 4 o'clock weekly drive. So certain things, I have a meeting the same time every week with my team, because we turn up, we don't forget, it becomes a pattern. So I wouldn't say everything in your day should be that much of routine. That would get scary. I know it's and in schools you have your timetable. School starts at 9, we finish at 4 or 3 or 3:30, whatever, depending what sector you work in. And you need to know what's going on because there's hundreds of people involved. But equally, the playtime for the flexibility, so you do need to build those things in, but consistency is absolutely key. Get yourself a rhythm, create a rhythm. What happens if you've got a rhythm? You don't need to think, you just do. And you have the creativity within it. Like I told you, I don't plan this. I just come and I talk. Don't know what's coming out my mouth, but I know I am very confident on the themes, so I can speak about them in different ways. And of course, the most important thing is that you engage the audience, don't you? You have to engage the audience, whether you're speaking, you're writing, in your book. So make it engaging. Talk to them. It's all about them. So sometimes we're on the side where we have to give to people, and then sometimes we are the people. And when we are the people, it's all about us. So if I'm going to an event today, I'm going there, and because it's interesting, I want to go. But equally, when I go there, I've got a focus. I know why I'm going there. So it's always like I've got my reasons for going, but equally, I'm open to what is possible. But equally, I know why I'm going. So make sure you keep the audience engaged, on the toes from your first word to your last word. Ask questions. Leave them hanging. Why would you engage your audience? And more importantly, how would you do it? Let's share some of the strategies for engaging audience below this video. And of course, if you're in business, it's time to get serious and a love affair with data. Measure your success. So, sorry to hark back to when I was a teacher. We had data all the time. Schools are just run on data. And if the results come down, boom, interventions are put in to get the results going up. So you find solutions to when things aren't going your way. So I'm looking at engaging audience more to grow my business. So I've hired someone else to do the work that I can't do. I don't have the time. And become part of the team. So we now have 6 for Book Brilliance Publishing. I have a team of 9 for my magazine. So we're growing quite fast. But you measure your success, get the data every month. So have a sheet. I'm sure we've got some sheets. I'll create some for you. You have one of the most important bits of data I want you to measure is your social media following and expansion. That's easy to do. There is a sheet. I'm sure it's on school. I'll double check. If not, I'll make sure it's there. Where you have to, every week on a Friday, let's say 4 o'clock on a Friday or thereabouts, you go to your social media and you write in how many followers on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever platforms you're working on, and we can create the consistency, create the rhythm. 4 o'clock on a Friday, I do my data. It's a 5-minute job. But those 5 minutes, and every month you can see I've grown 20 this month, I've grown 50, I've grown 100. Okay, how do I go from 20 to 50? How do I go from 100 to 150? And find other ways of engaging. Businesses are all driven by data. If you want to be serious about making an impact in the world and about being a business that makes a difference, you have to get serious about how you run your business. You need to see yourself as a business owner who runs a successful business. And look, success takes time. It doesn't happen straight away. I've become better at this year. But we've always tracked some data, but we are improving our data. And then we look at data analysis, find solutions, and then that informs your strategy, your brand strategy, your marketing strategy, your business plan. Sorry, scaling your business. So now we're about to open an office in Dubai, for example. We've got something in India. We're here, and next year we'll be looking to America. We've actually got part of We've got part of what we need in America. So you need to be tracking your data. I think we really need to look at how do we make data sexy. So we need to tell ourselves a story around it, because a lot of folk look at it and go, oh, numbers and charts. But let's find a way to do that. So I'll do some exploration. Sorry, something's got up my nose. And yeah. And then when you get all these elements all in place, remember we start with one thing. It's like when you juggle, you start off as a child, one ball catch. Then you get a bit older, you have 2 balls. Then you can have 3 balls, 4 balls, 5 balls, or spinning the plate. You spin 1 plate. Okay, I'm getting good at spinning this plate. Oh, I need to do this. I'll spin 2 plates. So you go between 2. And eventually you're spinning most. Just think if you're a parent, how many plates are you spinning? You're working, you're child rearing, you're looking after yourself, you're looking after your partner, you're looking after parents, you're blah, blah, blah. So you need to evolve as a brand, be in control, take it slow and steady wins the race. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So let's evolve into a beautiful butterfly. I actually prefer to evolve into a dragonfly. And the reason I choose a dragonfly over a butterfly, just a little aside, is because dragonflies shed skin up to 12 times before from being a nymph to being a beautiful iridescent dragonfly. And there's a lot of spiritual qualities around dragonflies. Whereas a butterfly is a cocoon, but look at it, it's got way more going on because it only does one. So you choose the little symbols. I've got loads around me on my desk. I've got a bee, I've got a frog. Maybe we'll talk about having things to help you keep focused. And there we have. So what are your takeaways? What are your takeaways from this whole aspect of brand? What are you going to work on next as a result of listening to the Feel Focus? What have you done? Tick, tick, tick. What do you need to do next? And then take action and do it. You'll thank yourself and hopefully maybe thank me for giving you that little nudge. So there we have Q&A. Anything put below the video. And thank you with all my love for being part of our BBP family. So there we have it. That's brand strategy and looking at brand identity in particular. As you can see, there's those 9 elements. Get yourself on school, work through all of the work. You need to be proactive. Yes, you work with us. Yes, we are there nudging you. Yes, you've got Feel Focus twice a week. And I'm going to be doing a Q&A. So let's get that in so you can come. I think I'll make a Q&A. You can let me know if you want a Monday or a Friday, and we will start. We can either end the week to ask me questions about what happened that week, or you can ask me questions. Let's make it a Monday, actually. Monday, 9 o'clock. We're going to put it out there. I'm going to do a Q&A. If you've got questions, if you can't make it, you can send them in and I'll answer it. Okay, I will speak to you next time, which will be Thursday, 4 o'clock. We do one in the morning, one in the afternoon, because some people can't get in the morning. Plus, we have a lot of people in other parts of the world, so I have to make the time available for them. So that's why Thursdays are at 4. So until next time, this is Brenda saying, be brilliant, much love, and to the pit.